Hello, welcome to GTech Techno Solution Private Limited. Today we are going to discuss about a few interview questions based on software testing. Which is also having an important aspect of software development life cycle, abbreviated as SDLC. Our first question is, what is the main objective when reviewing a software deliverable? To identify defects in any software work product is the main objective. When reviewing a software deliverable, we have to also check the requirements. That is, whether you need a username and a password in a login page. And what is the benefit of test independence is our next question. It avoids author bias in defining effective tests. The requirements are, it needs username and password in login page. Our next question is, what is beta testing? Testing performed by potential customers at their own location is known as beta testing. Banking software project. Let us take the example as banking software project. Software testing done by the bank employees themselves to check whether they are comfortable with software to put loan and to put deposits is one of the form of your beta testing. These type of questions are highlighted in IT firms. See DAC. Let us see our next question. What is functional system testing? The answer is, testing the end-to-end functionality of the system as a whole is defined as functional system testing. So, from end to end, you're going to test the functions. So, that is known as your functional system testing. Our next question is, what are the benefits of independent testing? The answer is, independent testers are unbiased and they identify different defects at the same time. They don't have a particular pattern of testing. They test randomly on different aspects and they identify the different defects. These pattern of questions are highlighted in interviews of Mass Tech. Our next question is, what is Whitebox testing? And the list of the types of Whitebox testing has to be given. Whitebox testing technique involves selection of test cases based on the analysis of internal structure. So based on the test cases and the internal structure, we have to decide the test cases that we have to perform on the code in order to test its quality. If you see over here, we can test this particular code for its quality. So that is meant by Whitebox testing. You have to analyze the code, identify the test, and then you have to validate the output. So the different types of Whitebox testing is nothing but code-based or structural testing is the another name of Whitebox testing. The different types of Whitebox testing includes statement coverage, decision coverage, condition coverage, multiple condition decision coverage. So these four types are the four different types of white box testing. Statement coverage covers all the functionalities between the loop, whereas your decision coverage will cover the condition that is happening up to value of 1, which is less than 10. Condition coverage is happening up to a value of 1 from 0 to 9 and not 10. Our next question is, what are types of testing in software testing? The types of testing in software testing are as follows. Blackbox testing, which is used for functionality check. Whitebox testing, it is used for code-wise check. Unit testing is nothing but checking individual modules. Incremental integration testing, it is nothing but your step-by-step integrating your modules and then checking them together. Integration testing is checking issues in integrating the modules, and functional testing is checking the functionality of the code. System testing is checking overall project working condition. End-to-end testing is checking overall project working condition from your start to the end of the project. So these are the types of software testing, and there are a few more to continue with. So the other types of software testing include your sanity testing. It will check the functionality on a high level. Next we have the regression testing, checking the possible way of all dimensional checks. Acceptance testing, it is nothing but checking for acceptance of customer needs. Load testing, you have to check the system by applying a specific load onto the system. Then stress testing is our next type of testing. Check the flexibility of a system by applying more stress. Our next testing is performance testing. It will check the software for its performance on applying more load. Usability testing, it is checking the system from the usability perspective. So these are the types of testing that is available in your software testing. These type of testings have to be done to assure that your software is having a high quality. These type of questions are highlighted in IT firms like Sansa. Moving on to our next question, we have, what is meant by black box testing? Black box testing is nothing but a software testing technique whereby the internal workings of the item being tested is not known by the tester. For example, in a black box test on a software design, the tester only knows the inputs and what will be the expected output and how the input has to be given to get a perfect output, but he does not know how the program arrives to those output. So that is meant by your black box testing. Our next question is, what is sanity testing? The answer is testing to determine if a new software version is performing well enough to accept it for a major testing effect. So, a sanity testing is nothing but testing initially so that you can perform larger tests on it. So here we will be applying sanity testing to the small amount of software, and if the application is crashing for the initial use of testing itself, then the system is said to be not stable and hence it won't be passed on further for testing and build or application is assigned to fix. So after passing your sanity testing, it will be going for the next level of testing to ensure high quality of the software. Our next question is, what is a V-model? The answer is a software development model that illustrates how testing activities integrate with the software development phases is known as your V-model. Here if you see, we are mapping the testing techniques with the software development phases. So this is your V-model. These pattern of questions are highlighted in IT firms, Oracle. Our next question is, what is maintenance testing? Triggered by modifications, migration or retirement of existing software is your maintenance testing. So while performing your maintenance testing, it will trigger the modifications, migrations and retirement of existing software so that how it performs even after the changes that is being done. Our next question is, what is alpha testing? Alpha testing is nothing but a pre-release testing by end-user representatives at the developer's site. So, the developer himself will be testing for the quality of the software in his developer's site. That is known as alpha testing. What are different test levels? There are 4 test levels. Unit component program module testing, integration testing, system testing and acceptance testing. So these are the different test levels for testing. Unit testing will test your individual component. Integration testing will combine each unit test. In your system testing, you will be testing the integrated system. In acceptance testing, you will be testing the final system. So that are the different test levels for a software. These pattern of questions are highlighted in interviews of First Source. Our next question is, what is integration testing? Integration testing is a level of software testing process where individual units of application are combined and tested. It is usually performed after unit and functional testing. So, we have 2 types of integration testing approach. They are top-down approach. In this manner, we will be breaking the units or the software from a top to down approach. That is, you will be testing on the whole and splitting up and testing in a further smaller units. In case of bottom approach, we will be traversing from bottom to up by integrating your software modules. So, this is known as your integration testing. These kind of questions are highlighted in IT firms interviews such as Wipro and iGate. Our next question is, what is the difference between static and dynamic testing? Static testing is nothing but the code is not executed during your static testing and it is performed using a software documentation. So you will be doing review and documentation in static testing. The code will not be executed. Whereas in case of the dynamic testing, the code is required to be in functional and executable form, because you will be having a functional and a non-functional testing in dynamic. So that is what the difference between your static and dynamic testing. Moving on to our next question. What are the tables in test plans? The tables in test plans include your test design, scope, test strategies. Approach are various details that test plan document consists of. The various details that your test plan document consists of include test plan identifier, references, introduction, test items, software risk issue, features to be tested, features not to be tested, approach, item pass or fail criteria, entry and exit criteria. These pattern of questions are highlighted in IT firms, interviews like Sascan and Polaris. Moving on to our next question. What is latent defect? Latent defect is nothing but a defect that is an existing defect in the system, and it does not cause any failure as the exact set of conditions has never met. So this defect exists in your system, but it does not cause any failure because the conditions has never been met. Moving on to our next question. How will you conduct risk analysis? For risk analysis, the following are the steps that is needed to be implemented. You have to find the score of the risk. Followed by that, you have to make a profile for the risk. Then we have to change the risk properties, after which you have to deploy the resources of that test risk. Further, you have to make a database of the risk. So these are the steps that has to be followed in order to implement your risk analysis test. These type of questions are highlighted in interviews of IT firms such as Tech Mahindra and TCS. Let us move on to our next question. What is difference between your test matrix and traceability matrix? Test matrix is nothing but it is used to capture actual quality, effort, the plan, resources and time required to capture all the phases of software testing. Whereas your traceability matrix is mapping between test cases and customer requirements, and it is known as traceability matrix. So, using your test matrix, you can capture the actual time and resources that a person takes for performing a software testing, whereas in your traceability matrix, you will be mapping the test cases with the customer requirements and check whether they have been satisfied or not. Let us move on to our next question. When is RTM, Requirement Traceability Matrix, prepared? Your requirement traceability matrix is prepared before your test case designing. Requirements should be traceable from review activities. Hence, you have to review the activities and from that you have to trace your requirement traceability matrix. These type of questions are highlighted in interviews of IT firms such as Wipro and Verizon. Moving on to our next question. What is DFD? It is nothing but the abbreviation of data flow diagram. Data flow diagram is nothing but a diagram which depicts your flow of data and it is graphically represented using your flow diagram. It is also used for the visualization of data processing. So this will be your data flow diagram. Here, as you can see, the data is flowing from A to B and A to C. So it is represented in a graphical format. Hence it is known as data flow diagram. Moving on to our next question, we have a question as, when do you choose automated testing over manual testing? So in which case do we choose automated testing over manual testing? The answer is, this choice between automated testing over manual testing can be based upon the following factors, which include frequency of the use of the test case, time comparison, that is the time that is taken to run the automated script and manual execution. A third factor is reusability of automation script. Then the most important factor is adaptability of test case for automation. A final factor is the exploitation of automation tool. So, these are the factors that govern your automated testing over manual testing. Our next question is, what is negative testing? The answer is, negative testing is performed to find the situation where your software is crashed. So here, in negative testing, we'll start with the negative approach of how much load the software can take in negative aspects. So the system is given an invalid input in your negative testing and definitely that will throw an error. So to calculate the impact of this, we are performing negative testing. Whereas in your positive testing, you'll be giving a valid input followed by the system will give you an expected result. Our next question is, what is test case? A test case is nothing but a set of conditions which is used by tester to perform the testing of application to make sure that application is working as per the requirement of the user. So that is what is meant by test case. A test case will contain various information like a test step, verification steps, prerequisites, output and test environment, etc. So these are all about test case. Thank you so much for joining GTech.